Hey everyone, welcome back to Build Your English. It is Jessica here, and today we are slowing things down and taking a peaceful walk through one of the most universal topics we all talk about without even thinking: our morning routine. Morning habits might seem simple, but they reveal so much about who we are, how we feel, and how we connect with the world. That is why learning to talk about your mornings in natural English is such a powerful skill. So today, let's spend some time gently exploring how to describe your mornings in a warm, comfortable, and fluent way. I want you to imagine us sitting together with a cup of something warm. Maybe you like coffee, maybe tea, maybe just a glass of water with lemon. Whatever feels right for you. And while we sit here, we're going to walk through the different moments that shape a morning: waking up, getting ready, preparing breakfast, planning the day, and settling into the mindset you carry with you. While we do this, I'll introduce natural English phrases and ideas you can use in any conversation, whether you're chatting with friends, making small talk at work, or simply practicing aloud to build confidence. Let's begin with the earliest moment of the day: waking up. One of the most natural ways to start describing your morning routine is simply by connecting how you wake up with how you feel. You might say something like, I usually wake up around 7, or I tend to get up early because it gives me a quiet head start. If you are not a morning person, you might lean into something softer, like, I try my best to get up on time, or mornings take me a little longer to settle into. These gentle phrases help you sound natural without trying to sound perfect. Sometimes people also talk about whether they wake up to an alarm or wake up naturally. So you can say, I wake up to an alarm on my phone most days, or on weekends, I usually wake up on my own when my body feels ready. These phrases give a sense of rhythm to your morning. Now, as we ease into the next part of the routine, there is often a moment of transition from waking up to fully starting the day. This is where you can share what helps you feel awake. You might say, I like to stretch for a minute before getting out of bed, or I usually check the time and take a moment to breathe. Some people prefer something more active, so they might say, I get up right away because moving helps me wake up. And if you are someone who stays under the covers for a while, a natural phrase would be, I take a few extra minutes to wake up slowly. Once you're actually out of bed, the morning opens up into a series of small choices that shape how the rest of the day feels. Many people start by heading to the bathroom to wash up. And this can be described simply by saying, I start my morning by washing my face, or I like to take a warm shower to wake up. If you prefer something gentler, you might say, I rinse my face with cool water because it helps me feel refreshed. Notice how each phrase expresses both the action and the feeling. That's what makes conversation natural. Now, as we ease into the next part of the routine, there is often a moment of transition from waking up to fully starting the day. This is where you can share what helps you feel awake. You might say, I like to stretch for a minute before getting out of bed, or I usually check the time and take a moment to breathe. Some people prefer something more active, so they might say, I get up right away because moving helps me wake up. And if you are someone who stays under the covers for a while, a natural phrase would be, I take a few extra minutes to wake up slowly. Once you're actually out of bed, the morning opens up into a series of small choices that shape how the rest of the day feels. Many people start by heading to the bathroom to wash up. And this can be described simply by saying, I start my morning by washing my face, Or, I like to take a warm shower to wake up. If you prefer something gentler, you might say, I rinse my face with cool water because it helps me feel refreshed. Notice how each phrase expresses both the action and the feeling. That's what makes conversation natural. Now, as we move into the next moment, the first drink of the day often becomes a little ritual on its own. This is something you can describe in a friendly way, like, I usually make myself a cup of coffee, or I like to start with warm water because it feels calming. If you enjoy tea, you might say, I make a cup of tea while the sun comes in through the window. These little details are what make your English sound warm and alive. Breakfast is one of those topics that easily brings people together. So when you talk about your morning routine, this is a great place to add natural conversational energy. You might say, I keep my breakfast simple during the week, or I like to cook something a little different on weekends. If you eat something specific, you can share it in a relaxed tone. I usually have toast and fruit, or I like oatmeal because it keeps me full. If you skip breakfast, you can say something easy like, I do not always eat breakfast, but I like to have something light if I'm hungry. As we continue moving through the morning, the way we prepare ourselves for the day says a lot about our habits and our daily responsibilities. You might describe this by saying, I get dressed and choose something comfortable for the day. Or, I plan my outfit the night before so I don't have to think too much in the morning. If you like a slower approach, you can say, I take my time getting ready because it helps me stay calm. Another important part of morning routines is planning. Many people look at their schedule, check messages, or write down a few tasks they want to get done. Natural ways to express this include, I take a moment to look at my schedule for the day, or I check my messages to see if there is anything important. Some people enjoy journaling, so you might say, I like to write a few thoughts in the morning to clear my mind. By now, you might notice a soft pattern forming. Describing a morning routine is really about sharing how you move from one simple moment to the next. And that gentle flow is what helps your English sound more connected, more human, and more natural. Now, as we move further, mornings often include some small personal habits. You might say, I like to put on some light music while I get ready, or I enjoy the quiet before everyone else wakes up. If you meditate, you can say, I take a few minutes to sit quietly before the day begins. If you prefer something active, you could say, I do a short workout to boost my energy. When you talk about your morning routine with others, asking questions can make the conversation feel more interactive. Friendly questions might sound like, how do you usually start your day? Or, do you like slow mornings or do you prefer getting started right away? These questions are simple but very natural, and they invite the other person to share their own rhythm with you. Now, let's move gently into the idea of morning moods. Everyone has different emotional patterns in the morning, and expressing these feelings in English can help you sound more open and confident. You might say, mornings help me feel calm, or I sometimes feel a little slow in the morning, but I warm up as the day goes on. If you have busy mornings, you could say, my mornings can get hectic, but I try to stay organized. These phrases help you express not only what you do, but how you feel while doing it. Now, as we continue drifting through the morning routine, you might also talk about something that motivates you. You might say, I like having something to look forward to in the morning, or I remind myself to take things one step at a time. Adding a small phrase like this brings emotional warmth to your description. Another way to enrich your English is by mentioning small morning challenges. For example, you could say, sometimes I hit the snooze button too many times, or I can be slow to get going on cold mornings. These little confessions make your English sound real, friendly, and relatable. Moving ahead, many people also have a moment in their morning when they check in with the world, whether through the news, social media, or a quick update from friends. You might describe this by saying, I check the news for a minute while I finish my coffee, or I try not to look at my phone right away and give myself a quiet start. These choices tell a story about your personality. Now, let's talk about transitions, because mornings are really full of them. The transition from sleeping to waking, from stillness to movement, from quiet to activity. You can express this by saying, my morning starts slowly and then picks up. Or, once I get moving, the rest of the day feels easier. These are natural ways to describe the rhythm of your day. Small talk about morning routines often includes comparisons, such as how your mornings differ on different days. You might say, my weekday mornings are pretty structured, but my weekends are much more relaxed. Or, on weekends, I wake up naturally and enjoy taking things slow. As we approach the next moment, mornings often include interactions with other people if you live with family or roommates. You can say, I talk with my family while everyone gets ready. Or, I like having a quiet moment to myself before the house gets busy. These small details add warmth to your English. Another natural topic is your commute, or the way you leave the house. You might say, I head out the door with my coffee in hand. Or I take a moment before leaving to make sure I have everything. If you work from home, you might say, I start my workday by setting up my space and checking emails. Everything we are describing builds a picture of a simple but meaningful morning. And the more detailed your picture becomes, the more fluent and expressive your English becomes. Let's move deeper into variations, because mornings change based on mood, weather, and personal habits. On bright, sunny days, you might say, the sunlight makes it easier to wake up, or I feel more energized when the weather is nice. On rainy days, you could say, rainy mornings make me want to stay in bed a little longer. If it's cold, you might say, cold mornings make me move slowly, but warm coffee helps. These small details feel natural in conversation because they connect your routine to real feelings. You can also talk about music, sounds, or little comforts that shape the morning. You might say, I play soft music while I prepare breakfast, or I enjoy the quiet before everyone else wakes up. If you light a candle or incense, you can say, I like adding a small, cozy touch to my mornings. Another useful area is describing your pace. You might say, my mornings are slow and gentle, or I move quickly because I like starting early. Both are natural and give a sense of personality. Now, let's explore a few mini stories you can use when someone asks about your morning routine. You might say, something funny happened this morning. I spilled my coffee, but it actually made me laugh and wake up faster. Or you could say, I tried a new breakfast today, and it made the morning feel special. These small stories make your English feel alive and warm. Morning routines are also a great way to talk about small goals. You might say, I am trying to wake up earlier this month, or I am trying to add a morning walk to my routine. These simple expressions show progress and personal development. As we move toward the end of this gentle exploration, remember that talking about your morning routine does not need to be complicated. It just needs to feel like you. You can share as much or as little as you like, and the more you practice describing your mornings, the more natural your English will become. Thinking about your own routine, you might take a moment to reflect on the small habits that bring you comfort. When you share those in English, you are not only speaking a language, you are sharing a part of your life. And that makes your voice more human, more engaging, and more confident. So as we wrap things up, take a deep breath and remind yourself that fluency is built from gentle, consistent steps. You do not need to rush. You do not need to be perfect. You just need to keep showing up for yourself. Keep practicing, keep believing in yourself, and keep building your English step by step. Until next time, take care and have a peaceful morning whenever yours begins.